This is a Galactic Network podcast.
The Podcast of Terror is a great podcast. It's covering movies that are not for children, and thus this podcast is not for children. The hosts are two adults who will use bad words from time to time. They'll also spoil movies if that's not your thing. So if you don't like spoilers and you don't want to hear some dirty language or some dirty references to dirty parts of your body, then please, please, please wash your body parts better and do not listen to this show. If you can handle it, and I hope you can because there's a great podcast coming up, then please proceed with Podcast of Terror.
Burn and fire, burn the fire. Burn and fire, burn the fire.
Welcome to episode 129. Shut up, Joe. This is the Podcast of Terror production of the Galactic Network. For more on this podcast, including show notes, contact information, subscription links, go to gncast.com/pot. I'm your host, Matt Stein. With me, as always, is Corey Giggle Fairy Scott.
Okay, I'm gonna allow that.
Our guest this week is owner of the Strength Lead, operator of the Gentleman's Weight Loss Project, Joe Nissim, or as I like to call him, my Egyptian sunrise. How are you, Joe?
I thought I was the angel, but sunrise sounds way more Egyptian.
That's why I wanted to go with something like real stereotypical Egyptian.
God of sunrise.
I thought about my Egyptian goddess. I didn't want you getting a big head about it, though. So
Okay,
I like sunrise.
Sunrise, God.
I look forward to you every morning, and I can't wait for you to go away every day.
I'm cool with that. But I mean, keep the compliments coming because I don't mind it. Egyptian
No,
God.
they're gonna stop right there because now you're gonna have to tell people what you do because
Sexy.
I've hinted at your existence.
Have
I've
you?
talked about my existence on this planet and my mission to become less gross.
So should I talk about my story a little bit, or how much do you want me to?
I want you to talk about your business, what your mission is, everything you want to do to get your name out there to our listeners.
Oh, okay. Well, my name is Joe Nissim, obviously. I am a men's transformational expert. So my mission is I've had a interesting battle with weight my entire life, and I didn't realize how much it permeated to other parts of my life. And it affected my business life. It affected my relationships. It affected how I saw myself in the mirror. It affected what clothes I bought. It affected who people I would talk to. And a lot of times as guys, we don't necessarily realize it because we don't necessarily have a platform to talk about it. So that's why I started the Gentleman's Weight Loss Project. I wanted it to be a platform for men to transform into what they really want to be. I think we all have this idea of the things that we want in our head, but we rarely go after it because we're scared, plain and simple. And having a group of people around to help push you over that bridge of fear into the things that you really want and transform, I think is the greatest gift that I can give anybody because it's the greatest gift that I ever received. It felt like when I started to transform, I got a second chance at life. And I thought it was selfish for me to keep that to myself. I wanted to share it with the world as much as possible. So that's what I do. And my goal is to create modern gentlemen, guys who are confident, guys who go after the things that they want, but are also vulnerable, that are intelligent, and really kind of are well-rounded in every facet of their life. And that's why I hang out with you, Matt. I'm going to turn you into a gentleman.
That sucks.
One of these days.
Matt is rounded. That's fair.
Not for long.
On an average day, how much Creed do you listen to? Because this whole time you're explaining it, all I can hear in my head is Creed with arms wide open.
I listen more Nickelback than I do Creed.
You know what? I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna say of the two evils, I'll lean Nickelback.
Oh, see, I don't understand why Nickelback is such a bad rep. I think Creed is so much worse. So much worse.
It is definitely worse.
With arms wide open.
I'm trying to form an answer because I don't really musically care for either of them. I think ironically listening to them is pretty funny. But we were talking before we started recording about my friend James that I met in Indiana for that beer fest, and he drove. So we drove to the festival the first time, brought our beer back, and then took a lift back so we could drink without having to worry about it.
Yeah.
So we get into his car and he turns on fucking like Alter Bridge, and then goes. It's a 15-minute drive and spends the 15 minutes telling me about why Alter Bridge should have been bigger than they were, and why he doesn't understand why Alter Bridge is still huge. And like, this is a dude who's played in metal bands his whole life, and now he's just like, yeah, I don't fucking care. A good song's a good song. Like, it was a little weird. Tells me he listens to the Godsmack self-titled like once a week, which I think is strange, but whatever. I think it's funny and ironic to listen to that stuff. Same with Nickelback and Creed.
Are you being ironic and funny in front of other people, or are you doing it on your own? Because if you're doing it on your own, it means that you like it.
No, I generally don't listen to it on my own. Maybe as a joke with other people. I do. So I did the Kung Fury David Hasselhoff song, True Survivor. I listened to that ironically, and then was like, this is actually a really catchy song. And now I listen to it by myself while mowing the lawn, singing at the top of my lungs.
But do you find that you're using excuses to go to hang out with other people and like, hey, I'm going to unleash
just, hey, you guys want to get together?
Creed on these guys.
No, not yet, because
it sounds like you're Sean Wayans. It sounds like you're the Sean Wayans character from the movie that we're going to discuss in this situation. It's just
100%.
So I need to bring up a Wayans chart because I can't keep track of who is who.
How do you not know who Sean and Marlon Wayans are?
I know who they are, but I don't know the difference. Which one is which?
I don't know the difference. That is the most classically unintended racist comment that you could have ever made. All those Wayans guys look alike.
Let's see.
That is.
Oh, okay. Sean's the old, so Marlon's the okay.
Marlon's the youngest. He also just released a special on Netflix. It was not. Really? It was not bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad.
You probably like Amy Schumer though.
Schumer?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I liked her when she first came out, and then I read her book, and it turned everything off for me.
But you had a boner though, right? You said everything was turned off, and I have a hard time believing that you weren't rock hard reading Amy Schumer's book.
He read it with one hand.
Fair, it's fair. I mean, I didn't have to hold up the book. Let's put it that way.
It's impressive, actually. I wish I had that.
But yeah, she was. I thought she was really funny, and then she got very whiny, privileged for me.
Didn't she get like uncommonly crude too? Like, did she start out just like kind of crude, and then she got like Bob Saget?
Yeah. Like it was way too much. It was like
I don't want to say that she got that from Anthony Jeselnik because like, oh yeah, the guy showed her how to make comedy funny. I don't necessarily believe that, but it certainly seems like about the time that I recognized that they were in a relationship together, her shit got really out of hand.
Wait, she dated Anthony Jeselnik?
Oh yeah, they were together for a little while.
I had no idea.
But I knew about her before I knew about him.
Jeselnik is dark as fuck. But
yeah,
funny.
and I love it. I love his humor, and I like a lot of Amy Schumer's stuff. But I do see like it's not so much that she changed her humor; it's that she is critical of the things that she makes jokes about at other times, and then she gets criticized for doing stuff, and then she has to kind of like go back and say, oh, although that's not really like this isn't meant to be sexist, even though it's totally fucking sexist. Or this isn't meant to be fat shaming, although she fat shames herself all the time. It's a little aggravating, but I don't hate on her for it.
It's too self-deprecating for me. Like where I honestly, I feel negative watching it. Like there's that line between being like, I have a sense of humor about myself versus like to the point where it's like, okay, this is overly self-deprecating. I can't take this. It's too much. That's my thing with her. Like it became too much, and not for nothing, she doesn't really have. It doesn't seem like if you've ever read like some comedians' books, like Kevin Hart or even like Trevor Noah's book, like these people had some rough upbringings.
I don't want to read Kevin Hart's book because I never want to get yelled at by a novel. It just
That's some funny shit right there.
That's awesome.
I don't imagine they can make the font big enough for the all caps that's screaming at me. I just
Oh my god, that's really funny.
See, I think Kevin Hart's really funny, but I also think he's like, man, there's no good way to say this. He's
but try. Please.
He's white black. Like he has like a very what? What? Corey?
I don't know that that's where I knew you were going, but please continue.
Well, his like outlook and the way he approaches all his jokes are like from a very proper place, and I think that's why he's very popular with the Caucasian crowd. Should I just put some crickets in there when I go to edit this thing, or what?
I don't necessarily know, like, understand what you mean. Like, what do you mean?
I don't even know what I mean anymore.
I don't understand the proper, but I do certainly his stuff may be not necessarily sanitized, but it's aimed at being acceptable by people of all races. It's not necessarily like just from a black point of view. It's very.
He's not a black comedian. He's a comedian.
He's a comedian, right?
Yeah.
And he's very into his brand, and he knows how to get his brand to be valued, and that's fine. I don't necessarily like his stand-up comedy, again, because it's just really loud and a little obnoxious for me, but I've liked him in a lot of things. So it's nothing against the guy. He deserves all the success he has.
He's not Dave Chappelle. I'll put it that way. Like Chappelle, I think is just brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's smart and he's like just a naturally funny dude. I think Kevin's like a caricature of himself. Like
right.
He's always in a character.
He's always hyper tense and I can totally get why people would find that to be funny. It's just that's not where I like more absurd humor. So just because his stuff is so offensive, it's not even necessarily the offensive part that I think is funny, although I do love that Balls Out just like ripping anybody to shreds. Yeah. But it sometimes the stuff comes out of nowhere that I just laugh because I can't believe that he put those words together in that way and made the statement. And it's so brilliant at the same time as being so subversive to what he's talking about. And I think that there's a lot of room for different people in comedy, and Amy Schumer is someone who I have definitely found funny at times. I've enjoyed her show at times. It's just maybe I hit the wall with it.
Do you think Louis C.K. is going to be able to come back? I think Louis C.K. is a very funny dude.
No, but
go ahead.
Aziz Ansari got accused of similar.
No, Aziz Ansari got accused of being in a shitty date. You know, he wasn't whipping his dick out.
I thought the story was that he whipped a dick out.
No, he was with somebody who was there voluntarily, and he kind of kept assuming that the date was going to go in a sexual way, and she wasn't into it. But when she had, from the article as I read it, when she had points where she could have said, "Hey, I'm not into it," and could have left, she didn't. She stuck it out, and he's just like, if you're sticking around, I assume that this is still leading to the place where it started.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's no other evidence of him ever having a relationship with somebody where he, as far as I know, where he's been abusive. It's, if anything, it seems like it's on point with Aziz Ansari as we've always known him. Is he doesn't seem like he's like a totally chill, casual guy. He's also really loud. He also yells a lot. I've also found him obnoxious at times, but I've also really enjoyed him at times. But it seems like, this is what his character was like on Parks and Rec. Yeah. And it didn't seem like he wasn't playing himself on Parks and Rec.
I thought he was being himself on Parks and Rec.
Right.
And I honestly did not love that character on Parks and Rec. I thought he had moments, but overall, like, he was not even close to my favorite character. I mean,
no, Parks and Rec had a lot of heart, and all the characters you loved over time, except for the guy who left after the first season. But it was still like he was the obnoxious friend in that group.
Yeah, he really
had some moments.
But he definitely had some funny moments with him and John Ralphio. That shit was hilarious.
Exactly. John Raffio was fucking great. Jenny Slate was amazing as Raffio's sister.
God. Fucking every time she's like, money, please, my money.
So good.
You sound too good when you do that.
I know. I work on it. That's why.
But Louis C.K., I love Louis' humor, and it bums me out. It absolutely bums me out that this is the person that he is, and worse, that we all kind of got played because he told everybody the kind of person he was, but did it in the context of jokes, and then was like, but yeah, on the side, this is really who I am. And it sucks. I made a statement that I think I might have had them edit out of an Ulcers episode where it was basically like, sometimes funny people are actually awful people. That's the nicest way I can put it. That's not what I said on the show. But yeah, it terrible people can be talented. And I think that in Louis' case, he has some legitimate problems. And I would like to see him resolve those problems. And I'd like to see him come out the other side of it and be a better person. But it requires him being a better person. And I don't think it's it's been 6 months I've been out of the public eye, and now I get to come back, like what's going on with all these people. It's like, you need to go do some learning. If to put it into church way, you gotta go to Jesus. And I think that's
in his life.
Yeah, I'm not above forgiving somebody, but I'm also not the person who was hurt by him. I'm not the person who was abused by him. So,
well, you and I have had that conversation a number of times.
Yes, Matt, because you hurt me.
Fuck you, fucking pussy. No, it's just like it's hard for me to relate to something involving a famous person objectifying women because no one's ever objectified me.
Right.
So it's like I don't know where they're coming from when they say it, and yes, I feel for them and I side with them and not the celebrity, but it's like it's hard for me to understand what it's like to be so like Annie Chang was a previous guest. She's an actress out in LA, and I believe one day she was walking down the street and someone leaned out their car and yelled something super duper racist at her. And she was like, I'm just so sick of having to do this all the time. And I'm like, I don't know what that's like. So it's really hard for me to understand what you're going through, but I totally feel bad.
Right. And I imagine that she's also had the same thing except sexist at her, and maybe a mix of the two at her. And when you open yourself up to the recognition that so many women go through that constantly, and it takes you out of who you are and your own life a little bit, and you have to develop some empathy for other people. And you have to kind of say, yeah, I would never consciously do that, but are there little things that I do unconsciously that I don't realize how much it's a part of a bigger problem? There are things that I say and I think are funny and taken as a joke when somebody doesn't realize or care that I'm joking, because it's still causing them pain, because it's compounded with all the other things that they're going through and how they're treated on a day-to-day basis. And they're not taken seriously when they've taken abuse, or they're not believed. It's really tough, because I feel like an enlightened person a lot of the time, and then I realize, shit, I'm not. And when shit started up with Bill Cosby, my first instinct is like, but that's Bill Cosby. How could Cosby be this terrible person? I've watched and listened to him my entire fucking life. I've listened to his albums. I've had some of his stuff memorized. I love Bill. He's like grandfatherly to me. And it's like, yeah, but guess what? He fooled a lot of fucking people, and then he hurt a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And I always think, like, when I hear somebody that I look up to getting accused of something, I can't just be like, oh, it's bullshit because they wanna hurt him to get at his money or get at his fame or whatever, because it just can't be that all the time. I don't necessarily, I think we talked about this when Beach was on the first time. I don't necessarily go with the movement of believe the person who's accusing them, but I do believe in taking them seriously, taking the charges seriously. And if they're a good person, then they need to say, yeah, this isn't true, but please investigate it, because it has to be taken seriously. We have to look at this realistically, and I have to accept the consequences of it if it turns out that it is true, because there's just too much of the time it's true and nothing gets done. You know,
That's the-
we're in a
that's the
world
problem.
where we're
That's the problem. I think it's just unacceptable to. I worked in finance for how long did I work in finance? From 2003 to 2010, 7 years. And every time something fucked up would happen, you just go, "That's banking. You don't like
Right.
it, get out." Right? And it was like, "No, we need to make some changes here. This shit is unacceptable. Like, these are people. You know, we're dealing with people. We're not dealing with a number." And I think that excuse of this is Hollywood was just, it was too much for too long. And then somebody just had to drop the hammer. But like Matt, you said like you can't relate to that shit. I mean, you can. I think we all can relate to pain in some shape or form. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. I mean,
maybe not specifically that, but like, you know, I'm a proud Egyptian, you know, but I also was, you know, had an Egyptian flag hanging in my car after 9/11 and got a rock put through it. That shit was fucking hurtful. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I live in, I live 2 miles outside of New York City, and I've been in this area for a very long time. And I was in high school at that point. I had nothing to do with anything. The
Right.
church that I went to was an Egyptian church. They literally, we showed up one Sunday, and all the glass was shattered. Like somebody came through with like a fucking sledgehammer and shattered all the glass. And it was crazy. Like, and I wasn't the only Egyptian person that experienced that. It was like anybody who looked Middle Eastern. You know, like my mom was like, "You got to put this stuff away." And I was like, "No, I'm not. Like, you know, I'm an American."
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate in some respects too, but that was hurtful. Like, because you felt like you were being, people didn't even want to even hear your side of the story.
right, because hate doesn't take time to find out the
Right.
detail, and
Right.
anger doesn't take time to go in and say, "Oh, well, you're not that person. You're this other
Right.
person." It's just
Right.
like, I'm just angry, or I'm just mean, and I'm
Right.
just hateful, and I'm just pointing at whoever I feel like pointing at, and putting whatever I want to on them,
Yeah.
and you have to deal with my shit at this point. It's no fault of your own. This is my shit, but I'm gonna spread it out all over the fucking place.
Yeah, and it's like I get when somebody feels victimized, like I can appreciate that, because can you imagine like opening up and telling somebody about that shit and then nothing happens? You know how bitter you are? You know how like, you know, unsafe you feel? Like there's no way you could do anything? It's fucked up. It's a fucked up thing. How did we get down this hole?
Is either this or we're gonna talk about food.
That's true. That's true. We're trying to change it up a little bit. We can only talk about chicken breast, broccoli, and white rice for so long, Joe.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I made pulled pork before the show started. I haven't eaten any of it, so I kind of resent you guys right now. And that's not a race thing. That is a hunger thing.
I had a stuffed chicken breast.
Did you make it? The one that I said?
It's
the
like a
what?
variation. I've done it before, but it was Greek yogurt, spinach, and red onions.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I had to stop at the store because I knew I didn't have any food. I needed chicken breast. So I was out of meat. Like I told you, I'd eaten everything before I left, and yeah.
Matt, what are you bringing us for drinking?
I'm taking it easy. I did look at my Untapped. I sampled 35 beers yesterday and Friday. But I knew that I figured Joe would be like, "What the fuck?" Well, it's like a lot of times it's like a sip or an ounce. So calm your tits. This is just for you, Corey. It's called Double Dry Hop Sparkle Motion.
I love double dry humping.
Yeah. Oh, it's over here.
Did I get that right?
Mm.
Yeah, it's from Narrow Gauge in St. Louis. My buddy James stopped there on his way from Kansas, and
Is that a sparkling rosé?
no, it is American. It's a double dry hopped American pale ale. It's really fucking good. Yeah, but I just
what is your top 3 favorite beers?
Style or beers? So you're the second person to ask me today what my favorite beer of all times is, and that is a very difficult question.
I know. It's like picking your favorite child.
I've had some things I've had recently that I thought were really fucking good. There's this brewery called Aslan in Washington, D.C. Someone got me James actually. It was a cotton candy double IPA. That was really good. It did not taste like straight sugar. He got me.
What did it taste like?
I mean,
Did it kind of taste like cotton candy, or like?
yeah, it was like sweet. I imagine it was like if you took a ball of cotton candy and just like poured water into it and watered it down to a drink.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it wasn't like overpoweringly sugar or sugary or anything. James also got me because I'm a basic white bitch. It was a pumpkin spice latte milkshake IPA.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So this podcast is over. I can't deal with this.
That one was really good. But I've also had I have like a rye barrel aged sour in my basement called Pentagram from Surly out in Minneapolis. That's really fucking good.
Mm.
And then also, like I was telling you yesterday, the cinnamon toast crunch beer that I had, it's called Chemtrail Mix. That one was fucking amazing.
But like, what's your favorite beer to like keep around the house? Like, if you're gonna have a beer with dinner, what's your table wine?
So if I'm having one, so if I'm eating and I'm having one beer, I'm having a fancy beer, and I try and have something different every time. If I am drinking all day and I don't want to die, Coors Light.
Yeah, buddy.
Fucking water.
Faithful.
Yeah.
Faithful.
I used to like High Life was my beer, and then they changed the recipe a little bit, and it doesn't taste quite the same. But every year, my grandpa's not really. Yeah, I like grew up sneaking Miller Lights out of my parents' fridge because that's what my mom drank, and now she switched to Bud Light. So yeah, and I'm also 30, so I don't have to sneak beers from my parents anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my grandpa loved High Life, so I drank it quite a bit in remembrance of him. So every year on his birthday, I get a tall boy of High Life and a pack of Snowballs. And like that's really the only time I'll drink High Life, unless I can't get Coors Light. But where in the state could you not get Coors Light?
Yeah, seriously. Do you like Budweiser?
No, it gives me the shits.
I think Budweiser is gross. Like, fucking people I know, they just fucking love Bud. I'm like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, my mom claims she gets really bad hangovers from Miller products now, but not from Bud. And that's because it's rice versus wheat.
Are they owned by the same company now?
No. Anheuser-Busch still owns Bud, and Miller Coors is Miller and Coors.
No. But Miller Coors are owned. That's what I meant. Miller like High Life and
Coors
Light. They're made by the same people, right?
I believe PBR and Schlitz is too.
No.
Because
what is that? Do you like that brewery out of Chicago? That's really good now. That's really big.
Which one?
What are they called? Goose Island. Yeah. People seem to love it. When I was in Chicago last year, like it's.
I think Goose Island's base beers are not good, but their Bourbon County is phenomenal. That's their yearly release. I have
Pete Master in the chat just said Budweiser is like recycled German beer.
Probably.
Which I assume the recycling means it's gone through your system, like one of those civet cats that eat the coffee beans and shit them out.
Oh, yeah.
Just like a colonic.
Yeah. I'm going to be opening a Bundaberg root beer. It's Australian family owned. I got a 4-pack of these at the Safeway on Friday because I wanted to put one into the pulled pork that I just made. So I'm going to give this a shot. It's got a pull tab for the cap to come off. That's a nice little bit of fizz.
So I am drinking a Brita filtered water for everybody who wants to know.
I got backup water. I don't know where my wife put my big red cup, so I'm drinking out of Nalgene like a gym bro.
Do you like hard liquor, or are you really more of a beer person?
Not really. I like whiskey and bourbon and scotch, but so I like super fucking weird beers, as was just proven by what I say were my favorite beers of recent times. Yeah. So just getting like scotch or whiskey, it's more expensive up front, but then you're stuck with the same flavor for a long period of time. So like a friend of the show, previous guest, buddy of mine works at a distillery in California. He has sent me their whiskey and I thought it was really good, but that was 6 months ago and I still have over half the bottle because I don't drink it that often. And I really want to get Pappy. Like I have to try Pappy. But
Pappy. I like what you say, Pappy.
Shut up. But yeah, so I mean, I don't not like hard liquor. it's easier for me to gauge how drunk I'm getting and how much I'm drinking by doing beer versus liquor. The last time that I drank straight like booze all night, mixed drinks, that was the first time in my adult life I blacked out, and that was 7 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't want to. I got real close. Every year, the day after Thanksgiving, we have Friendsgiving, or as I like to call it, Blackout Friday.
Yeah.
And when I told my wife,
I talked to you that morning.
oh yeah. So yeah, well, I forgot about that. But yeah, so my goal was to not drink fancy beer all day, and that's exactly what I did. And by the end of the night, I did some time traveling.
Yeah.
But I kept my shirt on, and I didn't throw up.
Like beer? I never put it together. I actually have like this thing with beer. Like every time I would drink beer in college, I'd always end up puking. I can drink Jameson like straight, no ice, nothing, and I'm absolutely fine. I like the way it tastes. But there's something about beer, like especially like when you say Milwaukee's Best to me, when I see that can, I literally get nauseous.
Yes.
Fucking Beast Light, a keg of Beast Light was $25.
Yep, dude. We used to. So so when we started Sky and Execution, the house we practiced at, there was like a pick and save like a half a block away, and I just turned 21, so I'm broker than fucking dog dick. So I would walk up to the pick and save, and I could get a 4-pack of Beast Ice Tall Boys for $1.30.
What are you doing to your dog's dick?
Don't worry about it.
That's all right.
Clearly spending all the dog's dick's money. So
Yeah. There's a fetish for that. Don't worry. There's corners of the internet that they want to see my dog's dicks. All right, just let it go. But yeah, so you could get a 6-pack of Tall Boys of Beast Ice for like $1.30, and that shit will get you drunk.
Yeah, dude, I can't do it. Like those two. You ever do like Edward 40 Hands in college?
Yeah, I wasn't in college, but yeah, you have to keep in mind I went back to college when I was older, and I didn't really go to a college. But yeah, I did it. I did it a couple times, and I just got really full every time.
That's gross.
It had nothing to do with being sick, or like I wasn't too drunk. I was too full.
Really?
And your hands go warm.
It's terrible. We did it. I was out at the Arnold's in 2004, and I was trying to qualify for junior nationals in weightlifting, and I remember we did it after. It was like my team. There was 3 of us who were juniors that were trying to make that national team, and everybody else was, like over 21. So they were like, they were competing on the senior level. And the 3 of us who did it that night, we did with 40s of Colt 45.
Oh,
we got drunk for like $4. It was literally the most disgusting night of my life. Just remember sweating a lot.
Yeah, that would probably do it too. I remember I was maybe 16. Mickey's, a 40 of Mickey's, and a bunch of soft shell tacos from Taco Bell.
What's Mickey's?
Mickey's malt liquor?
Yeah.
I don't
Got
even know
the
what that
B
is.
on the label. It's probably like 2 slots over from the Colt 45.
Hold on, let me see if I recognize this. I'm going to look it up. Yes. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I keep trying to find that Chamauna beer you told me to get, and I haven't seen it.
One that I told you about?
Yeah, the Chimay.
Oh, the Chimay. Oh, the Chimay is lovely.
Yeah, and like I know I've seen it. I can't find it now that I'm actually trying to purchase it.
It's like you can get it anywhere. It comes in like a nice big bottle. If you get a good one, like an aged one, they come with like a pop. They have like a champagne top to it. It's nice. It's lovely in the summer with.
If there's no wax on it, it's not good enough for me.
Oh, I didn't realize how fancy the bitch you are.
I was kidding.
This is fancy.
They have these things called yopeners, because a lot of the limited release bottles, they put the wax over the top to prove it's fancy. So this yopener is usually like an oak stave with a little indent with like a razor blade in it to cut the wax.
Wow.
So now picture a bunch of dudes getting super drunk with these things. Right.
Oh,
So-
it's a fucking recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So I first heard about this at Dark Lord last year, and then this year was more people talking about just how many times they've sliced their fingers open using these things.
Oh my god. That
Yeah,
sounds
I'm like,
horrible. Fucking idiot.
I wanted to buy one, and I was told no by my legal property. So it's probably better that way because I still have all 10 of my phalanges.
I never understood the wax point. I thought it was just Maker's Mark's way of like trying to be fancy. Even
I don't-
though they,
I mean, it doesn't like seal it. You know what I
Right.
mean? I think
it
it's
just looks
just
cool.
yeah, like Three Floyds. They every year they do different color wax.
That's very cool.
So like all of their fancy beers in 17 were green. This year it's silver. I think it was like blue the year before, red the year before that.
In a
So
century, you get through the whole 64 pack of Crayola.
Yeah, so the next year's macaroni and cheese. Yeah, so it's kind of cool if you have them all like side by side, the different color waxes, but it's a huge pain in the ass if you're trying to drink it because you're fucking shaving wax all over the place. And
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
oh yeah,
But what's your favorite stout? If you had to pick
Um,
one.
Him in a mirror.
I did recently. Jesus, Corey. I recently had.
Cook with that shit.
He's very good. That's yeah. That's why I keep him around. I had there's a brewery called Three Sheeps in Sheboygan. I know how much you love the name of that city.
It's because I couldn't pronounce it for the first 2 months. I'm like, Shaboy,
Boing boing.
boing, boing.
They have a coffee stout called Uber Joe, and then
Oh.
I have barrel aged Uber Joe, which I believe has like chocolate and what's chocolate? Hang on, barrel.
I just love that you love things with my name. It's like your subconscious just yearning for me, even when I'm not around.
That's
Very
weird.
flattering.
I didn't scream your name once while I was drinking it.
Oh.
That I'll tell you about. Let's see.
But when he threw up, it sounded just like he was calling out for you.
Like notice that nobody brought that up. He was like, I never call out your name ever.
That I'll admit to. Well, I just want to fucking. So this is what I hate. Have you ever gone on Beer Advocate?
No, I've never. I didn't
So-
even know that exists.
Yeah. So a lot of times, if I'm trying to find out if a beer is good, if I'm in the store, I'll go to Beer Advocate or use on tap to see what people are rating it, and they'll give like a description of the beer. But
Oh.
this is the way that people talk on fucking Beer Advocate. On the surface, Uber Joe lives up to its namesake. It's a big coffee beer, but as with most things at Three Sheeps, the story behind the beer is more complex. From a full flavored roast we developed, the Collectivo coffee, to the vanilla we add post fermentation to our partnership with Black Swan Cooperage. Oh, Cooperage? And their unique honeycomb cut barrel staves that produce a deep barrel flavor.
How come you go sex operator right away?
Because that's what this person is trying to just tell me if the beer's good or not.
Yeah, this is Matt's review of any beer. Drank lots, got drunk, fucked a stuffed animal. That's pretty much 100%. That's a 5-star rating for Matt Stein.
This
But
beer
don't they have a point system like Whiskey Advocate? Like
Yeah.
isn't-
Yeah, it's a 4. It's their average 4.5 out of 5. I give it a 5. But it's a bourbon barrel aged stout with coffee, cocoa nibs, and vanilla.
Everything with nibs.
There's a lot of stouts with cocoa nibs because it's easy, I think. But yeah, it's good as fuck. Like, two more bottles.
That's looking good.
Now I'm just looking at pictures of it. Listen, singing
Oh,
Creed
but
in my
what-
head.
what is it- but- And Corey, like, feel free to jump on it. What's your favorite whiskey? Like, what's the best one that you've had lately?
I haven't had a drink in 20-something years.
Really?
Yeah, I don't drink
Yeah.
alcohol. My wife has never seen me drink alcohol in
Good for
the
you.
19 years we've been together. That's fine. It's not like I did it for some special reason or anything. I just stopped. But when I was one thing I was going to say earlier, I've never thrown up from drinking.
Ever?
I've never had a hangover either. I have
Oh my god.
definitely blacked out drunk, and I've definitely one time I got a wonderful bout of food poisoning from jungle juice that had fruit that had been in the barrel that had soaked in vodka for 48 hours before they mixed the juice and stuff. But other than that, no, I don't I don't drink and never really had any ill effects from it. Usually it's like I drink, get stupid, and don't remember anything.
You've never been hungover, even the night you blacked out.
Yeah, no. I wake up the next day completely refreshed.
Fuck you.
I know. I have a friend who does drink, just doesn't drink a lot, and he's like, I've never had a hangover. And I'm like, the fuck? Like, how can you really question your own life if you haven't been hungover?
I am bad at everything.
No, you're great at being my friend.
Remember, Mountain Dew and coffee makes me fall asleep. So
That's true.
Oh man, I barely drink anymore. Like it's on rare occasion. I actually had a few drinks out last night. And I like summer. It's gin. I had 2 drinks, and I was like, all right, it's time to stop now because I am like feeling 2 drinks. I'm such a bitch. Like,
I was there was when the fuck was before I cut back on my drinking. I mean, I didn't drink like in an amount in which I was concerned that I was an alcoholic or anything. But either way, I cut back, and then there was like one night I had like 2, and I was like, holy shit! My face started to get numb. I got the twinklies.
yeah, it felt like yesterday felt like when I was like 18 and just starting to drink, and I was like, you know, every time you drink, you'd be so happy. You're like, I feel it. I was like, oh, I feel it. I'm like, fucking, what the hell?
Well, I was
actually kind of nice too.
So yesterday, I opened my first bottle of beer at 8 a.m. I had a nice bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout with maple and cinnamon. I figured that was like a good breakfast beer. Yep.
There's items in it.
Yep.
It sounds like it have a little cartoon wizard on the front of it, like a cereal box. It just sounds like it needs a mascot and some little catchy tune.
Fuck you, Corey.
Cinnamon toast fucks. You know, it just seems like it really be.
So do we even have to really talk about the movie? Or?
No, this would not be the first episode in which we barely ever talked about the movie. I don't even know if we've said what movie we're talking about in this episode. I said it in the last one. It's a scary movie. So let's go back to talking about booze.
Yeah.
Oh. What is your favorite beer other than Chimay?
That's a tough one. I'm not really a beer drinker, but I would say like I like stouts and I like the Chimay, and that there's like a, I don't know, it's kind of like I like Guinness a lot and I like Sam Adams a lot. Like
Guinness
just their
is an Old Faithful.
Yeah. I like just a classic Boston lager. I like what's that English beer that comes in the cans? Those yellow cans.
English beer comes in a yellow can.
It's named after them, like the area. Shit.
Oh. Boddington.
Boddingtons, yeah. I like a Boddingtons.
I've never had
That's pretty good.
Boddingtons.
Really? It's really good.
Huh.
But that's the extent of beers for me. Like I'm never really like Coors Light, Miller, that shit's fine, but like I won't go out of, like, I never have beer in my fridge. Let's put it that way. You'll never, like, unless somebody bought it over, I will never have beer in my fridge ever.
So
I don't go out of my way.
What about hard liquor? Because clearly that's your.
Well,
here goes again. This is the closet.
This is my most recent. I have yet to open this, but this is the most recent obsession, which is a lot. Oh, my camera.
Other way.
Other way. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
This is a Lagavulin 16. Somebody gave me this for my birthday in February. I have yet to open it, but I'm very
Golden Eagle or something.
It's all right.
Well, a guy I work with had it, and I was at his house, and he was talking about how much he liked it. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna just have some quick, and I thought it was decent, but
it's all right. I mean, most of them are okay. Like, it's rare where I'm like, oh man, like even like the Macallan 10-year, not that great. Until you get to like 18, it's not even that great. Like the Jameson 18-year is probably one of the most underrated bottles.
Really?
Because everybody's like, oh, Jameson, like it's a shit whiskey, like it's a mixer.
I think Jameson is fucking amazing. I had
I
the
love Jameson.
black label. I think I got the cask made stuff, which
Yeah,
Jameson and beer can't like. How do you go wrong?
yeah. They're pretty decent. Like I've had the Macallans like cast shit, and I literally thought it like was gonna burn a hole in my stomach. It was so like it was so acidic. Like, and that's not enjoyable when you're drinking scotch. What else? Bullet is good. I like mixing with Bullet, especially if you're gonna make like an old fashioned. It's pretty good to do it with. I've actually recently liked tequila a lot more as well, which I'd never really liked. Mezcal and tequila were not, but but again, it's not like often that I fucking really drink this shit anymore. I will tell you, Lagavulin is very good. There's another one. What's it called? Shit. Hang on.
Oh, there it goes again. Just fucking.
Just walk.
I know. Is this like a you're not supposed to do this type of thing?
No, I don't. Because we clearly give a shit about anything.
You know,
No, the majority of the people listen to this, so no one knows that you just keep getting up from your desk and walking to a giant cabinet full of booze behind you.
I know it's full of booze. Man, I wish somebody would just come and drink it.
Well, I like how I barely drink, but you have what I can see is at least 3 shelves of booze behind you.
They're not. It's not. It's just a bar, right?
Oh, well, I can only see from the waist down, so I assume you're not wearing pants either.
No, I am wearing pants. I did. I put out on because I didn't know we were going to be on video. I was like,
I told you. I warned you. Someone doesn't read their emails.
No, you kind of warned me. I was like, I usually calling, and then you sent it 15 minutes before. So I have this giant cigar box because I used to smoke a lot of cigars, but I don't smoke any cigars anymore, so it's empty. So it looks like there's more stuff on here than there really is, and most of it's just shit. I need to like throw half of this shit out because
Just
it's
a
so
dried
gross.
turd on your desk.
Pretty much, and I got to refinish this bar because it could be so much nicer. But what is it called? Not Lagavulin. It's got the weird name. It's very smoky. Why can't I remember it? Lefroy. That's it. You ever had a Lefroy?
Nope.
Lefroy is very good.
Is it?
That's real. It's LAPHROIG. Like when I first started drinking it, I was like, I saw it. I'm like, oh, can I try that Lafroy? And they're like, what? I was like, Lafrog, Lafreeg, like it's Lafroy. I was like, oh, sorry, we're not knowing.
You're like Jessie Spano when she calls the dress Versace. And
Yeah. Yes, I like that Versace dress.
Guys, she's just so excited. So
Yes,
scared.
I know.
When
Matt, you and I will be friends forever.
yeah, no, we totally will. When Seth and his brother and I went to Ohio, Jake is a really big Saved by the Bell fan. So there's a brewery down in Florida called Funky Buddha, and they made a coconut coffee stout called "I'm So Excited, I'm So Scared," with Jessie Spano riding a tiger and a leotard on the bottle.
Nice.
That was fucking good.
That is fucking hilarious. Have you ever been in that place? I don't know. They just started building these on the East Coast called World of Beer. I think I asked you about this, Matt.
They're the one here may be gone now, but I went once and it's all right.
They have so much fucking beer. I don't know how they fucking like stay open. It's got to be so fucking expensive to run.
Oh yeah. I guess it depends if you can put beer on your shelf that can sit for a long time, assuming that people aren't going to drink it. That's a lot different than getting beers that require being drank quickly. Like a lot of IPAs and some lighter beers, you have to drink right away, otherwise the flavor falls off.
Changes.
Yeah, so if you can get darker beers where they generally get better with age, where they're just sitting there, then that might be better because you're not going to have like a high turnover.
Yeah, but like, how do you keep 550 beers on tap? It's insane. Too much.
I don't know. Not very good.
So, but that was the place that I think we talked about this, that Sweet Baby Jesus.
Yeah.
That I thought was pretty decent. Yeah. That was good. That was very enjoyable, actually.
Oh, fuck, I think we were talking because there's an Imperial version. Dew Claw. Pete's Sake, I think, is the Imperial version.
I mean,
Yeah,
the only reason I ordered it was because it was called Sweet Baby Jesus. I was like,
that
I
is the
have
exact reason that I went out of my way to get some, because I can't get it around here.
Hey, can you order that shit online though? Like, is it
No, you make friends with people in other states that mail you beer.
really?
Yeah.
Like, but does it change the flavor if it sits like on a truck for too long?
No, usually like, the rule of thumb is that you mail it out Monday so it doesn't sit in a warehouse over the weekend. You don't mail it when it's too cold. I haven't had anyone that won't ship because of summer yet, but they have a Sweet Baby Java now.
No.
It's where is it? Espresso bean infused chocolate peanut butter porter. That sounds good.
I like a little coffee infused in a stout. That's lovely.
I got a bunch. James gave me a few. Pretty excited. I'd be in the mood. Like last year at Dark Lord, it was 80 and sunny. So by the end of the day, I had gotten they tapped like a 2015 Dark Lord, and I got a cup of it, and I just stood there, and it got hot in my hand, and I just threw it out, and then I went to sleep. Because I'm like, you get stouted out, and they get all warm and gross, and
it's disgusting. Yeah, you got to drink that shit cold. Like even if Guinness is a little warm, it's completely different. It's so gross.
Yeah. So they tap the beers and set it on a table and wait for you to come order it. So a lot of times when you go up there and you buy a beer yesterday, it was lukewarm. Luckily, I found one guy who would top it off so that it was kind of cold. But
that's nice. Have you ever had that peanut butter milk stout? A friend of mine was telling me about it.
There's a lot of them, so you'll have to specify.
I think it's something with beaver in the name. I think the brewery's hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Oh, Belching Beaver?
Belching Beaver. That's it. Yeah, Belching Beaver.
I have not.
You ever had that?
No, Belching Beaver did a Deftones beer.
What does that mean?
You've never heard of the band Deftones?
Oh, not really. I mean, I know who they are, but it's I don't know.
Sorry, it's not Kelly Clarkson or Pitbull.
First of all, do not make fun of my alter ego, okay? That's how I get at the clubs when I'm in Miami.
You are not the only person I know.
People mistake you for Kelly Clarkson?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
That's what I thought. That's not for you.
That explains why I want to bang you.
It's okay by me. I like being desired.
I actually didn't know that Belgian Beaver made a peanut butter milk stout.
Yeah, buddy of mine who's very, very into beer and likes that. What do you think of that nitro one? I see that around a lot too.
The left-hand milk, the left-hand nitro.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at a picture. That's the only reason I knew that's what you were talking about. Do you understand what a nitro beer is?
No.
So it uses nitrogen instead of carbon dioxide to carbonate. So that's why. So Guinness has the nitrogen pill in it.
Yeah.
So it's flat until you pop the pill, and that's why you pour it really hard because that's the nitrogen. Then so you get a creamier beer.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like it creamy.
Founders, I don't know if you get it. Makes a fruit beer called Rubius, and they had
Don't they have that breakfast one too?
Yeah, the breakfast stout. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I have a bunch of KBS in my basement. The Kentucky Bourbon Barrel Aged Breakfast Stout.
Is it good?
I had 2016 was really good. I had the 2018 right now is not good, but I bet in a few years it'll be better.
Do you think that different non big batch beers like Sam Adams and Coors Light and all that shit, their flavors are pretty consistent.
Yeah.
But you feel like those companies it changes year to year?
Every year.
Really? It's kind of like wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had since I was there yesterday, 2017 Dark Lord was very good. 2018's way fucking better. I think they just changed. There's subtle nuances or something changes with how they make it, but it's still the base. And that's so I'm really excited about this because Three Floyds, the Dark Lord brewery, started a distillery. So they're making whiskeys using their beer bases. So they're making they're using like their beer gumball head is like their whiskey base, but they're making Dark Lord whiskey,
That's
which I
pretty
think
cool.
yeah, which I think will be really fucking sweet. Plus, all of their labels are like metal as fuck. They'll look like death metal albums.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Gotta got that metal label, bro.
which is why they have Pig Destroyer and Dying Fetus playing there.
Yeah, you're never gonna
Um,
see the New Kid Stout happen. You're not gonna get
You
what
never
is
know.
That's
the Fifth
disappointing.
Harmony whiskey brand.
That Hanson made hops.
Yes, but Hanson's doing a lot to try to rectify the fact that they've been Hanson.
That's true.
Yeah.
Very
I
true.
want a Kanye stout. That's what I want. I'd buy that.
Drink it up and didn't say it's like slavery is a choice.
Oh boy.
Oh, Kanye. Oh, Kanye.
Oh, Kanye.
I love Kanye.
Do you really?
Yeah, I love Kanye.
I almost
Okay.
got us to start talking about the movie, and then you talked about Kanye. Do you like his music or like him as a human being?
Both.
Really?
With,
Okay.
Yeah, with the exception of some of his recent shit, I don't agree with. I've never always agreed with everything he says, but I think he's a pretty enlightened dude. I think he's a little on the spectrum.
I think he's a little too enlightened, and he thinks he's more enlightened than he really is. Does that make sense?
As of recent, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think this whole like don't interrupt my free thought. I think that's just to me that feels more Kardashian than Kanye.
I think like it's not uncommon for people when they get to be so popular and so looked up to that eventually sometimes they get a complex, and
Yeah.
it's probable that he got a complex. But it also sounds like he's got some emotional shit going on since his mom died, and maybe he's on some medications that are causing it. I don't know. I don't hate the guy. I'm not into his stuff, but you don't have to agree with somebody's every single thought to be a fan of him.
Of course not. Like that's just not going to happen. But I've loved his music since graduation, college dropout. Like I think his music. I love his music. And I've always liked him as a person because I think he's bold, and I like that he says what's on his mind. He doesn't cower to what the opinions of other people, which I like. I just don't always agree with what he has to say. But I like his zeal, and I like his zest, and I like that he goes after what he wants. I think those are admirable traits. I think to make it at that level, you got to have some level of enlightenment and intelligence, and produce for some of the best. So I think there's a lot more to that guy than what is portrayed, in my opinion. But I think as of recent, I just feel like you can't be around. I think the Kardashians are just poison. Like I really dislike them very, very much. I've never understood why they were popular. Don't get them.
I can tell you why
like
they're popular.
them.
Because they were produced by Ryan what's-his-fuck for E! Network. So E! Network is supposed to tell you what's going on in entertainment, and then they created their own reality show stars. So they kept telling you how important their reality show stars were, putting them up next to the people that you were actually fucking interested in, and you just heard about it so much. It's like, well, they must be fucking important then. And so they mass produced their own fucking whatever. It's shitty because there should be a level of, all right, you're not allowed to do this thing if you're doing this other thing, because if you do them both, you got too much fucking power, and it just shouldn't be allowed. If you're Comcast and you're the person who makes the pipes to get people their entertainment, then you shouldn't also be able to make your own shows or own your own channels or own your own news. And when you allow that, then it means that people are going to get screwed because you're always going to promote your shit over somebody else's shit. And the E! Network did that. They said, hey, we've got our reality show people, so they're going to take up the first 30% of our news segment every day, and you're going to think that they're actually newsworthy because of that. They're just going to keep poking you in the eye with it until you're blind to it.
Yeah, I guess. Like I just don't think Kris Jenner is a good person. Like,
No, I don't think any of them are really good people.
Yeah, I just don't think she's a good person. I think she really ruined those girls' lives because those, especially like my biggest disappointment with Kanye was that there was just something about that Kardashian appeal that I think is very attractive if you're a high-powered guy like him. Like, she's a powerful woman. She has a lot of sex appeal, but I don't even think she's attractive. I don't find Kim Kardashian attractive. I think given her platform, there's so many better things that she could be doing. I mean, the thing that really, like, I love celebrities. I love celebrities, and I love the platform that they have, and I like it when they use it for good. Just hate it when they do it to mislead people. Like when Beyonce came out with that vegan diet shit, like I was like really disappointed because I'm like, dude, this is just misleading people. This is stupid. Like this is not evoking any kind of a lifestyle change or behavioral change, which is really what's necessary. It's $1,000 meal plan. And
Yeah,
that was
the Gwyneth
bullshit.
Paltrow thing is the same thing of like,
Oh
and
my
it turns out
god.
she doesn't even live the shit that she sits there and preaches. But I don't devalue them for that. It's one thing to be popular for being attractive or be popular for being a reality personality. That's all fine. But all she is her brand. She doesn't bring anything else to the conversation. And so to have her sitting there and being a part of the same conversations that you're looking to Kanye to have because you respect his intelligence and you respect his voice, and then you've got this other person involved in it, it's like, yeah, but you have nothing to do with any of this, and you feel a little let down by it. And I completely understand that. I don't care. It's their choice. But the amount of Hollywood couples that are just created instead of actually happening because they give a shit about each other. And every time we see a couple that seems like, oh, they're the ones who are going to make it, and then they don't, we all get disappointed. Anna Faris and Chris Pratt is a good example. We're going to be talking about Anna Faris and this everything, and it was a real bummer to see her and Chris split up. But then I'm also supposed to give a shit about John Cena breaking up with one of the divas from WWE. It's like,
You watch your dog.
I don't care though. It's manipulation of we're supposed to care. We're supposed to care so much that we'll buy Taylor Swift's new album when she just gotten fucked over by 9 other guys. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't fucking matter. But it's this. You've got to separate the person from the product. And I'm not someone who says that people in Hollywood shouldn't be able to be political. I'm not someone who says people in Hollywood should just shut up and entertain. I was not one of those people who said the Dixie Chicks should shut up and sing, because one, I like the Dixie Chicks, and two, what they were saying appealed to me as like what I believed in. But I do think that you have to realize that if you're just being loud to bolster your product, then people are going to judge you on your loudness at some point, and your product may dry up. And I think what's going on with Kanye is that he's continued to being loud, and he continued interrupting other people and disrupting other people's shit to make himself look like he's the coolest one in the room. And then eventually people went, holy shit, this guy's fucking insane. This guy's an idiot now. Why would we listen to him? Why have the people that he's been pulling up that have all really respected him and stuff, all of a sudden they have to turn on him because he's fucking crazy? It's too bad, maybe if he would have just taken time away, but I think he's still out there and he's still saying all this stuff because he feels like that's what he has to promote as opposed to his actual music. And that's a problem for him.
Well, I agree. I think there's a lot of truth to what you just said. And I think that he's starting to feel unrelevant or not as relevant as he was. And he is a very powerful voice. Like, he's considered, the Michael Jackson of this generation in that genre of music. Like, he is a very influential person. And I think at that point you have a responsibility, like, do what you got to do, man. Like, work through your shit, but just be mindful of the platform that you do have and the way that people listen to you. Like, people were really hurt by a lot of the things that he had to say, like really genuinely, like, crying hurt because they look at him and they see him in a certain way. And like, there was an interview I watched on this New York City radio show called The Breakfast Club, and T.I., you guys know who T.I., right? Is right?
Yeah.
And he talks about confronting him, and he was like, there is a very big difference between the separating the person from the product. I think that was really intelligently said. And J. Cole, the same thing. Like, he had conversations with him, and it's like, I think Kanye is going through something that's way bigger than all the shit that he's spewing in the media. There's something really going on behind the scenes because he's not producing good music, and there's something going on there. And I do really think, like, how much can you surround yourself with people who are more of a drain than people who are creative and push you in a way of growth that it's not eventually going to bring you down. Like,
Yeah, can you accept when you don't have the biggest number of Instagram followers? Can you accept and find your new purpose in life when it's not the popularity contest anymore? Like, that's one of the things I really respect about Prince, is that Prince was a huge personality, was someone that everybody looked to for his fashion, for his musicianship, for a lot of things and stuff. But Prince was also very good about just kind of like going and getting into his own head for a while and being out of the spotlight, you know. And then he put out a new album.
Dude, he was a pretty private dude, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you don't have to be, and he didn't have to be, but when he chose to be, he allowed himself to do that.
Yeah. I think it fucks you up in a very different way when you're always in the public spotlight, right? I think that's why probably Prince was able to put so many great albums back to back. Was just, fuck, you're not getting fucked up by what everybody thinks all the time, you know, and being in the public spotlight. And then when you did have something to say, at least it was like thought out and you weren't just reacting in the moment.
Yeah, so. I think Kanye would prefer that he was with Beyonce. You know, I think that he wants somebody who's going to bring that much more to what he has, and you know, he can't, obviously, and I don't think Beyonce would go for it. But you look at Jay-Z, and Jay-Z has a lot of amazing shit under his belt and does a ton of things and is very popular too, but doesn't seem to have a problem with the fact that Beyonce is more beloved than he is, and at least not outwardly. And I don't know if Kanye could handle that shit.
I mean, but in reality too, like, is Kim more popular than Kanye? Is she not?
I think with a certain demographic.
No. I mean, fucking Beyonce she's fucking power. I mean, that's a fucking powerhouse right there. I mean, those two. But Jay-Z could be doing more too. Like, his voice is very much needed at this point. Like, and I think there's a lot of people like that. Like, you know, Dave Chappelle's voice is very important. I think, you know, like, and it's important to see, like, I would like to see a guy like Kevin Hart step up too, because he's so powerful. Like, he's huge followings, you know? Like,
he is powerful, but I don't take issue with the fact that if he doesn't think that it's something he'd do well.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree with that. I mean, that's a good point. Like, I think it would be nice for him to step into that role, but maybe he's just not ready. Could be very way. And he's not a very political guy either.
Yeah. But when you see the guys that you expect the least from, like I mentioned John Cena earlier, John Cena has done those commercials where he's talking about, you know, everybody's got to have mutual respect for each other. I love the shit out of that. You know, I don't know much about the guy, but I see that, and I see the kind of person that he presents himself as, and I definitely respect the hell out of him. Yeah. You look at Stephen Amell from Green Arrow and stuff, or a lot of the people who play superheroes and how they are with what they take with that role and everything. And yeah, it can be sort of seen as a popularity thing, but when you see them show up at the kids' hospitals and they're doing things for charities and stuff, like that's a huge thing. And how much of that is for show and how much of that is for, you know, promotion, I don't know, but it's still being done, and I respect the hell out of that. I look at John Legend and Chrissy Teigen, and I see their relationship, and I see when the Kanye stuff was happening, they're like trying to reason with him and trying to treat him as a friend with concern. And, you know, there are times when I see Teigen say, she's like, yeah, I have a lot to say about this, but probably not to everybody, you know, probably just as a person that needs to have this conversation with me. And I respect that a lot more than the fucking cattiness of some of these pop stars that they have with each other, because that's a human being's reaction. You know, it's not for the show, it's for the friendship.
Yeah, John Legend's my man. That's my favorite. He's my favorite, and And he's been, I mean, he's known Kanye for a long time. Kanye's the one who made him.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so the first time I ever saw John Legend play was at a Kanye show in 2005. It's like right when Kanye put out Through the Wire, and John Legend was playing piano and touring with him. It was him, Common, and John Legend. It's crazy. And
Yeah, Common's another one, man.
Yeah. I love Common, man. Common's the shit. But I like The Rock. I feel like The Rock is a pretty genuine person. And I feel like because everything is like the platform, the social media platforms, I feel like the leaders of tomorrow are going to be those authentic people.
Right.
Like the Rock and the John Cena's of the world. People were like real humans that people can actually relate to, and not just some like staged Hollywood thing. You know, and I think you can tell the difference. I think we're pretty intelligent and intuitive as humans where we can actually tell the difference. Sometimes it's hard, but I think when you see it in its raw form, you can at least spot it and be like, that person's authentic. But the one that's like on the line, you're like, I don't know, maybe sometimes. But like those guys seem to be pretty authentic. So.
And that's where you also have to be careful with your hero worship. Is like you can look at somebody for what they do or for how you perceive them and the things they accomplish and stuff, and then you could find out one day, oh, well, you know, maybe they aren't that person, or maybe they aren't that person anymore. Dennis Miller used to be a pretty progressive guy, and now he leans very conservative, and it's a bummer because I used to watch Dennis Miller's show at night and think, yeah, this guy brought a lot of the way that I think to the surface. You know, he taught me a lot, and now I see how he acts, and I get really bummed out. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that he's a bad person. It doesn't mean he can't be an entertaining person. He's still accomplished all those things. I still owe him all that stuff. It's just that he's somebody else now, and I have to recognize that just because I like this person for years doesn't mean I have to like them today or believe in what they say today to the degrees that I did before.
Well, the flip side of that is that you probably grew and changed too. So maybe now your thought has changed. And so maybe you're looking at that guy and saying, well, you know, you taught me all this, but it only gave me a platform for me to think and grow as a person. And I feel that way about like a lot of people that I read their stuff on a regular basis. You know, I'm in the nutrition business, and, you know, there's always something to be learning from somebody else. But a lot of times these guys that I learn from, they give me a platform so I can make it my own. And then I'm not necessarily the person that I was like, oh my God, they're the authority on this. I'm thinking, you know what, maybe I understand it in a different way, and I don't necessarily see it that way anymore. And I find that with a lot of things that I read. And I think it's really interesting that as you grow and change, you know, some of those people are also going to grow and change, and nobody's obligated to stay the same. But, you know, we're never obligated to stay the same. So I feel that way about a lot of people that I like had this hero complex with at first. You know, not just like books and thought leaders, like people who are actually in my life that, you know, you see them changing, like you have this hero complex with them, like a coach or a teacher, and you're like, well, you know, they're humans, you know?
Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing, is I can accept the shortcomings of a friend or a person like that.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit easier when someone that you're close to. And that's the nice thing, is that because of doing stuff like this, most of my heroes are people that I know. You know, that I have some sort of relationship with. You know, it's Matt is definitely a hero of mine. Jack and Dan are heroes of mine. We've had such great associations. The amount I look up to Matt Vincent now, who does stuff that is nothing that I would have ever been interested in before, but because I know Matt, I found out about this, and I just really look up to what he does and who he is as a person, and I love the guy. But it's nice because I feel like it's an advantage because I do get to know them, but it's that catch-22 of meeting your heroes. Is when you meet your heroes, do they live up to your expectations, or are your expectations unrealistic? Or are they somebody else in person than they are up on the screen? And how do you deal with that? At the end of the day, you go home, and the things that you learn from them are things that you still have to deal with for yourself. Yeah. You know, I pick the lessons that I believe, and I take the things that they said to heart. And even if they didn't mean it, it doesn't mean that it didn't mean something to me.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel sometimes like that they end up disappointing you because we put this unjust kind of expectation on them? Like, we expect them, like for a lot of times for me, I can just from my own personal experience, I kind of expected them to always have the answer, not knowing that really like all those answers I had to figure out on my own. I end up getting disappointed with them for not having an answer that I needed to come up with on my own. Do you ever feel that way?
Well, it's like that with your parents. You
Yeah.
know, the years that you look up to your dad and your mom, and you're like, oh, I can go to them with anything, and then you get to that one point, you really start to see the human flaws in them,
Oh yeah.
and you recognize, or like the first time you beat your dad at basketball, or you outwitted your mom in Trivial Pursuit or something. I'm not saying that I've had those moments, but it is that kind of thing of like, oh shit, you know, this pedestal, we're now closer to each other than we've ever been. You know, and maybe there are things that I'm better at, or maybe there are things that fundamentally I disagree with my parents on, but they're still my fucking parents and I still love them. And yeah, it's tough, but that's the world getting a little bit smaller as you grow up. You know, you look around at first and your world is a room, you know, your world is a view of a couple of people, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you have to grow to kind of match that, and then everything starts to feel smaller and smaller as you've progressed in who you are.
That's an interesting thing. I think that's kind of one of the things that, you know, would end up leading to disappointment was I had this unjust expectations on certain people and not necessarily giving myself enough credit for being able to figure out the answers that were always that I had the ability to do, but maybe was scared or maybe, you know, didn't think that I had the ability to do it or didn't have the confidence to actually do it. And then the world does feel so big, and then you start making these decisions and you're like, it's a little smaller, it's a little different. And it's amazing. It's an amazing feeling when you actually start to get those things for yourself, but it changes the way that you look at those people because they go from heroes to colleagues.
Right.
And
they're the people who say, I don't want to be a role model. Don't look at me like a role model and stuff. And I think that's kind of a cop out because you can't change someone's perception of you just by saying, you know, don't look at me that way. But what you can do is you can try to do right by people while still being realistic of who you are. Like, hey, you know what? I'm not perfect. I'm not someone that you should worship or look up to for every answer because I don't have every answer. I have a lot of problems in my life. I have a lot of struggles in my life, and I fuck up sometimes. I absolutely do. But, you know, if you're looking for what the good parts of me that you like, I want to share that with you. I want to be a part of your life in that way. Just also realize that there's a lot of other good examples out there. And you yourself can be a good example. You yourself can grow up and be the hero to somebody else. But you're going to also have to take home that when you're a hero to somebody else, when you mess up, that's going to screw things up for them a little bit too. And you have to work with that and try to fix that.
Yeah, it's a cool thing though. I find it to be, it's definitely some pressure, but it's also really cool. So I actually enjoy that. I actually like being able to pioneer something that somebody else can now learn from. You know, I think that's probably why I started my business, was because it was something that I struggled with so hard. And I know that like it's not just a transformation of physical. You know, a lot of times our physical body is just a manifestation of what goes on in between our ears. And it's an incredible power that you can give to somebody else when you give them something that you pioneered and say, you know, don't go down that road because that's what it'll lead to. Or don't do this because of this, and try this or try this. It's going to help you out in an incredible way. And to me, that's like that transference of knowledge and power, and watching somebody take it and make it their own is probably, like, I'm not a parent, but I would guess that being a parent somewhat feels like that, because like you're able to take your skills and your knowledge and give it to somebody else and have them come back and tell you, I did it. And it's amazing. And it feels so good to be here. Like, and that is, to me, that's, you know, for me, that's like one of my purposes in life. And I had a lot of trouble finding it. And then when that moment happened for me, I remember the first person, it really like knocked home. The first person I helped lose 50 pounds, it wasn't the weight that I helped him lose. It was the guy that he became. Was, you know, he was coming over, it was a terrible divorce. He was just down on himself. And I watched him like it was like a metamorphosis. Like I watched him like change and turn into a completely different man. And that was like, I knew it right then and there. And that was, probably even a year before I really took this thing seriously. So, I think that's, that whole hero thing, like, it's incredible because we get to give that power. And, no matter what, I think we're always somebody's hero. There's always somebody looking at us, whether it's a friend or a colleague or a brother or a sister. My older sister, Julie, she's a doctor. And I always put her like on this pedestal because I always thought she was so smart and that she always like pioneered her own way. And, she'll say some of these things back to me, like, I watched you do this and I was inspired to do it myself. And I'm like, really? Like, that's really cool. And and I think I would love to see that more heroes from the people around us. Like, I always think about my friends, like, times I don't want to go to the gym, I'm exhausted, I have a long day, a shit day, blah, blah, blah. And I think about some of my friends, I'm like, with my friend Layla, I mean, I've never seen anybody just like work like this. Like, if she has training to do, she just gets it done. I think, would Layla be doing this right now? Would my friend Matt be doing this? Friend Aaron, would they be going, they do this, would they just, and I pull inspiration from them. And I think sometimes we forget to pull that inspiration from the people around us. And we look for those big name things. We look at the Kanyes and all that, but there's so much around us that's so inspiring, that's so incredible, and it's so positive. So,
yeah, that's a big reason why you're here, because that's what you bring to Matt. And the other reason why you're here is because we're reviewing Scary Movie this week.
Oh, we are. We're gonna do it.
Let's get 5 minutes of Scary Movie in. I know Corey wants to eat that. Put that sweet pork in between his lips.
Oh God, I do.
Yeah.
So, Joe, you brought a Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Tell us about the movie. Give us a little bit of a rundown of this.
Scary Movie is the most hilarious scary movie because it is a parody of every 90s shit scary movie, right? It was I know he did last summer, Scream. They pulled like a lot of that dialogue and they just did it in a really funny way. I thought it was hilarious. I think I remember watching that in the theater and like dying laughing. Did you see it in the theater, Matt?
No. I don't think I. This may be the first time I saw it in its entirety.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well,
really?
it was on Comedy Central all the time, so I'd catch bits and pieces, but I don't think I ever watched it beginning to end.
It's hilarious. I think that was Anna Faris's breakout.
It was. She looks
Right?
really young in this, but she was 24 or something when it came out.
So young in it. She looks like a baby. But yeah, it is basically a parody of every bad 90s film. Bad
Now,
scary
did you
movie.
know that there was also Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th?
Mm-hmm.
Say that one more time?
Shriek If You Know What I Did Last Friday the 13th. It was another parody that came out around the same time, October 17th, 2000. Had Tiffany Amber Thiessen in it and Tom Arnold and Coolio. It was basically the same deal, just didn't land in the way that this one did. I think because this one had the Wayans as part of it.
The Wayans are unbelievable. It was a pretty decent cast.
Yeah, when you look
And
back on it.
Carmen Electra's in it too.
Yeah, she is.
She was hilarious in it.
Yeah.
They stab her boob. Out comes the silicone. That shit was hilarious.
So the first thing that I think of with this is that it reminds me of the Mel Brooks movies that came before it. And even that, if you look back forward, if you go back to the Zuckers and doing Airplane, it's like those things, those parody films that are like a bunch of different stuff parodied in such a way to turn this silly over the top comedy. But it also, a lot of the jokes feel old hat to me because of that, because I did watch those movies a lot as a kid.
Yeah.
So the humor didn't land for me as much. Also, let's be frank, I like Keenan Ivory Wayans, who's in this as a slave in Amistad too, and I like Damon Wayans, the
Old school Wayans.
Sean, even being SW1 as the DJ on the old Living Color, and Marlon, they were always the also ran Wayans to me. They were not the funny ones, in my opinion.
They were not the funniest Wayans by any stretch of the imagination. But they had that show that I used to watch growing up. Do you remember the Wayans brothers?
Mm-hmm.
That show that they had on WB? I watched that shit religiously. And they were always like the kind of like they just weren't as funny as Keaton Ivory and Damon. I mean, those guys are fucking legends.
Yeah, I like Damon Wayans Jr. probably more than I like Sean and Marlon. Actually, not even probably. Damon Wayans Jr. is damn funny.
Yeah, he's really funny. Don't they have like a reality show now? I thought I saw something.
Marlon keeps showing up. He had a new series, I think, on Netflix. He had another show that was on ABC not too long ago before that didn't make it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Sean in forever. I'm not sure what he's doing.
I thought Sean is funnier than Marlon, because I think Marlon's like toilet, like, you know, that like over the top humor, like that stupid humor. It's like toilet humor. But I think Sean's actually. But I will say this: White Chicks was hilarious. That
Not
was
Little
probably
Man?
What's that?
Not Little Man?
No. Oh, God. Fuck you, fucking Little Man. White Chicks probably their most hilarious work. The two of them.
Not a sentence you hear very often. Just throwing that out there.
What'd you say?
White Chicks, their funniest movie, is not a sentence you're going to hear very often.
Although that is fair, though, because it's on a scale. It's the funniest movie from Sean and Marlon Wayans, but it's although I like Marlon with Damon in Mo Money. Like that was a funniest movie.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've seen that. Now I gotta go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Mo Money is worth watching. I don't know about now, but in the 90s, I watched it a lot.
There's a lot of movies that I rewatch. Like, you ever watch Bad Boys again?
Oh God.
Yep.
I remember thinking, watching that, like, you know, when it came out, like 1998 or some shit like that. I remember watching it thinking, this movie is awesome. And then I watched it the other day. And I'm like, this movie's not that great.
Try watching the Rush Hour movies again.
Oh.
I refuse to watch them again because I love them so much. I love fucking Chris Tucker.
Yeah, that's the thing is like there is a point in time when this was acceptable. I don't know what we were thinking, but yeah, the Bad Boys, they're doing a Bad Boys 3, and I just assume it's just to be a camera spin around Will Smith and Martin Lawrence just the whole time, them handing guns out in the air and just looking left and right, and the camera just spin around them for 2.5 hours.
I mean, fucking, at least Will Smith is still in shape, and he can still play that role. Martin Lawrence got to get in shape, man. He's had it rough lately. Martin don't look.
They made a 50 Shades of Black movie starring Marlon Wayans.
Yep.
Is that a parody?
I'm guessing.
Gotta be.
What did I just see that the actress from that was in? I saw her in something the other day. I'm like, oh yeah, she was in 50 Shades of Black.
Have you seen 50 Shades of Black?
No. Why would I do that to myself?
I don't know. You seem to know a lot about it.
I know a lot about a lot of things. No, so this movie came out, and then they had the other scary movie sequels, and then they had None on Their Team movie, which is frankly my favorite one, but it touches on the movies that I watched growing up as a kid. And they had Epic movie, they had Superhero movie's okay. They had the Meet the Spartans. Like, I think the Wayans left after the second movie, and then the production company went on and did a whole bunch of stuff. But all of these movies have that parody of stuff that is funny right then. So it seems like the shortest shelf life films of, like, in this one, they did the what's up thing in the midst of it. And that was probably the most like taken out of one moment in time thing of zeroing in on that pop culture moment. It got way worse as they went on because it was seriously in Meet the Spartans. They had Britney Spears shaving her head and hold on to some illegitimate baby thing that are just like, yeah, for 5 minutes that this is in the theater, you might have a couple of laughs at this, but then you're done. I don't understand who's selling DVDs of this shit. I don't understand who's watching this late at night on cable and going, oh yeah, I remember that. No, I don't fucking remember any of this. It wasn't funny then.
It's all
but,
super timely.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is. Like the airplane movies to me,
they're timeless.
Are timeless. But when I watch things like Robin Hood Men in Tights, I remember watching it just a few years ago, and they did the scene where the kid comes running across the field, screaming, holding his face. And it took me a couple minutes to realize that he's playing Kevin from Home Alone. And then the way they do that, he's like, I have to go home alone now. And it's just like this so blatantly like, oh shit, now I get what you're doing. In that moment when it came out, I probably would have understood immediately, but it took me a while on this. I'm like, crap, that is just so fucking hitting the nail on the head, kind of driving it into you humor. It's not great years down the road. This wasn't as bad at that as I thought it was going to be, concerning the fact that they actually try to have some coherent plot in this. Although it's almost all ripped off directly from Scream, and to a lesser degree, I Know What You Did Last Summer.
When you, I mean, as scary movie aficionados, did you guys enjoy the Scream or I Know What You Did Last Summer when it did come out? Or were you guys always like, this is kind of like crap scary movies. This is like commercial shit.
I had my first kiss to a Scream movie.
Oh.
Because I was in like 8th grade when that came out.
Oh, that's so cute.
Fuck you.
And did your dad say you're good at it? Sorry, that's a vacation reference.
Was it movie theater?
No, it was in someone's living room. It wasn't in the theater. I think it was Scream 2 or 3. I don't even remember.
We reviewed Scream on here.
We did. I don't think they're bad movies. I just don't think they're. I think there's a lot of other better movies out there. Even when they first came out, I wasn't really.
What about Blair Witch?
The first one kind of scared the shit out of me. Then when I watched it in 8th grade.
Yeah. Right.
Now I thought the remake was decent. Well, it's not really a remake, but the sequel / reimagining, I thought it was really good. We've often complained about found footage movies where they never explain why there's always a camera rolling, and in the remake of Blair Witch they had these glasses with cameras in them, and that made sense as to why whatever these people were looking at was always filmed. And I really, really liked that about that movie.
I thought it was a pretty brilliant concept when it came out. It did scare the shit out of me when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
My friends and I saw Blair Witch. It was a download that somebody had done, and they brought it over. And we had thought that was the footage that the movie, The Blair Witch, that was coming out like 2 days later. We thought that was what it was based off of. So we saw it, and everybody in the room thought it was real. And a lot of people had problems sleeping at night. Scream, when I saw it, I didn't see it in the theater. I went up seeing it on VHS, and I remember seeing it because of the fact that they were really pissed off at my town that I live in out here in Sonoma County, because they canceled on them being able to film at the school in Santa Rosa once they realized what kind of movie it was. But I remember the whole thing of Ghostface kind of sticking with me. It was just the way that you would see him from your peripheral vision, like the person wouldn't see him, but the way that he would just kind of like run through the background really fast. That imagery stuck with me a little bit. But it was a silly movie, and watching Scary Movie just so succinctly points out the flaws of Scream and Scream 2 and even Scream 3 they get to at a point in this. It's funny that it was able to parody all three of them. I Know What You Did Last Summer, I just never liked. I couldn't get into it. I thought the whole thing was pretty crappy. I didn't care about those kids at all. And the same thing of the, hey, here's the camera spinning around Jennifer Love Hewitt. Good thing she's wearing a wife beater because that's all you want to see. Otherwise, it is just shitty. My wife watches every once in a while, and I'm just like, nah, I'm going to be in the other room.
I loved I Know What You Did Last Summer when it came out because it was such a good date movie. Like something that you took girls to because they'd be scared. You got to stare at Jennifer Love Hewitt for 2 hours. It was pretty awesome. It's pretty great
And
when you're.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was in that shit too. You know what movie actually legitimately fucking freaked me out? You ever see that movie Orphan
Yes.
Yeah.
with Vera Farmiga's in it? That shit fucking gave me like fucking chills for like 2 days. That little girl was creepy as fuck. I watched that shit as a full-fledged adult.
That is it. We haven't done that movie, and oh man, that's a weird one. Yeah, but so this thing also has what we've got Shannon Elizabeth in this after she was in American Pie. We've got. I loved the fact that they used Squiggy from Laverne and Shirley to play the principal after they had Fonzie play the principal in Scream. That was like those. There's little things about this, but James Vanderbeek shows up as Dawson for no reason in one cameo.
Dude, that shit was hilarious at the beginning when they're playing the theme song to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was very funny.
We start out with the Drew's boyfriend, and it's Prince sitting in the chair, although it's not really Prince. But it's like, oh, he's not my boyfriend. I fucked him a few times. And that's that moment of like, okay, yeah, because this was funny at that point. It was this is what passed for a joke. Some of these things are just really easy. And a lot of the stuff, there's homophobic aspects and stuff. That was just, unfortunately, that was the realism of what films were at that point, is that this stuff at that time was considered okay, was considered funny. And we've outgrown some of it.
Was Regina Hall popular then?
I don't remember Regina Hall in anything other than these movies.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I kind of remember her being in these movies, but I remember her more like being in like more modern comedies and shit. But I didn't realize that she was in this until I saw it again. I'm like, oh shit, is that Regina Hall? She's pretty hilarious.
She's great. She's absolutely great. I find her to be one of the most watchable people in this. I think Anna Faris was spectacular because it's the first thing I ever saw her in, and she was just so good at the slapstick, over the top humor and playing the dumb innocent character, which maybe she's done a little bit to death, but she did great in these. And I think the weakest points for me were probably the Wayans.
Wait, Sean or Marlon or both?
Well, Marlon always.
Yeah. But I thought Sean was all right. I thought some of his humor was pretty funny.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Sean was pretty funny. The whole every time they got done with football, he's like, "Come on, guys, let's go shower." I thought that show was funny. Marlon Wayans got really annoying to me in this movie.
He just plays that annoying character, like that fucking the stoner. Like that shit was just annoying. Probably something they could have fucking like wrote out of the movie without a problem.
Very
I don't think it
easily.
would have affected.
I don't think. They could have taken him completely out of the movie and it wouldn't have changed a thing.
But what he does is that he humanizes the Ghostface, the killer character. But those are the times when the character really gets to interact with the people more, and when he would get high and the mask would change and he'd have the tongue sticking out or whatever. Like that was the parts where I think that added something. Sherry Terry was kind of a waste.
Sherry Terry's so great too.
She's great in everything. She was kind of wasted in this. The guy playing Doofy. I couldn't tell you the difference between him and the actual original character in Scream.
What?
I'm
trying to look the guy picture up now. It just made sounds.
David Sheridan played Doofy, but it really could have just been David Arquette.
That's what I thought. I was trying to think if it was David Arquette in the original. And then,
yeah, it was David Arquette who played it in Scream, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It looks pretty spot on. They did a good job with that.
Have you looked at the movies that this David Sheridan guy has been in?
No.
They're like, well, he was in The Devil's Rejects. But he was in Haunted House 2, Sex Drive.
Yeah, Haunted House with the current
Black.
More current version of scary movies.
Yep. Yeah, so he was in Corky Romano. And Bubble Boy.
Well, that's
Wait,
unforgivable in both counts.
Uh-huh. He was in a movie called Gay Robot in 2006.
there are 5 scary. Oh, really?
Yeah, did they ever make a 6? 5?
I thought
Yeah.
I don't think I would watch anyone except that first one. Man, I didn't realize that there was that many.
Probably better that way.
Well, they started bringing Charlie Sheen in, and then Anna Faris left, I think, after the 4th one. So they started doing weirder things. They got to War of the Worlds. They did a bunch of other stuff. But then Charlie Sheen came in, and then I think in the last one, it was Charlie Sheen and one of the girls from the musical, the High School Musical.
Ashley Tisdale.
Yeah, I think she was in it.
Yeah, man, the 5th one is Snoop Dogg, Mac Miller, Terry Crews.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty. It's
I
pretty
mean,
bad.
Terry
sounding.
Crews coming in elevates anything. Terry Crews is awesome.
Terry Crews is the fucking man. I fucking love that guy. Yeah, I think that's Ashley Tisdale. That's what it says. Yeah. Did you guys actually, as scary movie fans, did you find it funny? Did you guys actually enjoy it? Like when you watched it the second time, did you actually enjoy it, or is it like?
I laughed one time. I laughed one time, and I'll tell you what it was. It was when Cindy's running up the stairs and she's throwing all the stuff down at the killer, and she throws Grandma down the stairs. And I kind of almost chuckled at that, but when she pushed the piano down the stairs afterwards, and then Grandma gets hit by it, that's the one point where I laughed.
That is sadistic. You laughed at a dying grandmother hit by a piano.
All the time. That's how I want my grandmother to go.
I thought this movie was pretty funny. To be perfectly honest, I thought it was funny. I did not hate watching this.
I agree. I think looking back, even the was up, as stupid as it was, It was nostalgic and it was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I enjoyed it.
I agree. I suppose we should rate this. Corey wants to eat pork, and I gotta close my chickens up so they don't get eaten, because that's the type of things I have to do with my life now.
Don't put them near my pork.
We had 3 get eaten 2 weeks ago.
Oh man,
I didn't tell you that.
No, how drunk were you?
Enough.
Yeah.
Enough that I left it. So one morning she went out there and there was a head and no body, and then the next day there was a body and no head, and then just a bunch of feathers in the corner of the yard. Yeah.
That's sad.
Oh no, it's super sad, but it's nature, So
No,
now she has these fake predator eyes on it. So if you look out my backyard, it looks like there's a landing strip back there because it's just all these blinking red lights.
Oh, not fake predator eyes on the chickens.
No, they're looking out of the coop.
Picture your wife gluing googly eyes on your chickens to make them look
just
scary.
Yeah. No, it's these little solar powered things, but yeah. So Joe, as our guest, you have to score first, just a 0 to 5. You can give an explanation if you want. You really don't have to, though. You can do whatever you want.
I'm gonna go 3 and I'm not gonna give an explanation because I really have to piss. And
I got to pee too, and that's usually when I know it's time to start wrapping it up. Is when my bladder's about to explode.
I too have to pee.
Yep. Corey?
I'm honestly gonna give it a 1.
All right, go figure.
I just don't enjoy it. But I get why other people do. It's just for some reason it just never clicked with me.
Yeah. I'm gonna give her a 3. Yeah, it was decent. And then I'm just gonna do this so that Corey doesn't have to. You can contact us by leaving us a voicemail at 805-328-3966. You can email us at pot@gncast.com, or you can leave a message on the website. Follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Podcast of Terror. And you can subscribe to this podcast via iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or any of your favorite podcatchers. Please leave us feedback. Corey made it easy. You can go to bit.ly/podreview. Leave a review there. We'll read it. I'll get drunk. Read it for you. All subscription options and links can be found at jncast.com/subscribe. Finally, you can join us on the entire network under the Galactic Network on Facebook. If you use Amazon, like everyone and their mother does, go to amazon.podcastterror.com, shop it like you normally would. We get a cut of the profits. Costs you nothing else. That's what makes this thing free. Joe, thanks again for coming to hang out. Where can people find everything you want to pitch? Do it now.
Okay, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and every other social media. Well, we only use those two. At Strikely, and personally, you can follow me on Instagram at Nissim, which is JNISSIM. And thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Yeah,
This was very enjoyable.
I will. I'll put the links to Joe's stuff in the show notes. But yeah, we'll have you back on. Probably back in fall. We're gonna take the summer break here after next week, so that I can mow my lawn every day.
Every day.
This was awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Corey, you can't leave just yet. I know you have to pee. You're rocking, but Corey, where can people find you on the internet?
I do a podcast called Else Nerds on this network. I do another podcast called STFU, Solutions to Fix the Universe, on the Ink Geeks network. One of them is about geek culture. The other one is about trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with this world and how do we fix it.
Awesome. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Untapped at Matt the Lifeguard. So that's going to do it. Next week, we're going to be talking about Tremors with Jack Picone. Maybe one other person. I'm not sure if Jeff's coming or not. But yeah, we'll be back to that episode. Probably be a pretty long one, and then we will be taking our summer break. So yeah, that's going to do it for another episode of the podcast here. We will talk to you guys next week.
Go pee, everybody.